What's up, guys and gals? Twiggets from the Wingscast coming at you, bringing you guys a short miniseries I'm calling The Lord of Lore, where I take you into the deeper and less common knowledge about the Elder Scrolls universe. Now, like all good stories, we're going to start at the very beginning, which of course is creation. Now, of course, there are many different views and stories of creation, even in the Elder Scrolls universe, and they all have several key components that have a similar vein about them. So this is really just going to be a compilation of the various stories and books found in the games that will lay out the general series of events. Now, in the beginning, there is Anu, who is the aspect of stasis, and Padme, who is the aspect of chaos or change. Now, Padme is more commonly called Sithis, which is the same Sithis revered by the Dark Brotherhood. Now, as an aspect of chaos, Sithis creates the Aedra and the Daedra. One of his creations, Lorkhan, who is an Aedra, convinces his fellow Aedra to create the mortal plane, or Mundus, based off the designs and engineering of Magnus. Now, as the mortal plane comes into existence, Magnus tries to flee the plane, knowing what he would be giving up. In doing so, he tears a hole in the plane and creates a realm of his own, known as Aetherius. This is where all the magic in the mortal plane comes from, and where all the mortal souls go when they die, and each have their own sect of the plane which will become their afterlife, such as Sovngarde, and like for the Nords. Now, the hole can still be seen in every Elder Scrolls game because it is actually the sun, which is why in the Elder Scrolls universe the sun is directly called Magnus. Now, Magnus also had many children or followers known as the Magna Gi, who tried to flee with him, and then they became the stars. Now, the two moons in the Elder Scrolls games are called Masir and Secunda, and they are called Lorkhan's flesh divinity, his godly body torn asunder during the creation of the plane. Now, the price of the Aedra's creation is their very immortality, which they sacrifice to create the aspects of the mortal plane, or called Mundus. And they are your divines, such as Akatosh, the god of time, Dabilla, the goddess of beauty, Stendar, the god of mercy, Julianos, the god of wisdom, Kinnereth, the goddess of nature, Zenithar, the god of commerce and trade, and Mara, the goddess of love. Now, of course, you might be thinking there's actually 9, and that was because we left out Arche, the god of life and death, and Talos, who has no real aspect, but I believe him to be the aspect of the mortal potential, like what a mortal being could become. Now, in earlier religious views of the Elder Scrolls universe, Lorkhan is actually worshipped as an Aedra as well, but Alicia bans that. Well, she doesn't really ban it, but she just cuts it out of religious knowledge, but that's for another episode for another time. Now, the key difference to note between the Aedra and the Daedra at this point in time is that the Aedra can actually be killed, while the Daedra can only be banished. And with their sacrifice, the first mortals appear unto the world, which is now called Nirn. Now, these mortals are known as the Elnophe, or the Earth's Bones, and there's very little written or even known about them, but they are described as being cursed and having to eat and sleep and having to bear children to continue their existence. But they are the very foundation of every living thing on Mundus, or in Mundus, sorry, because the Mundus is the plane, Nirn is the planet. Now, Arche, the god of life and death, is said to have been one of these Elnophe. And now there's several different books in the games that will talk about him being a merchant or just an immortal spirit that's crystallized. But he is generally believed to have been so intrigued by death that Mara ascended him so that he might continue his studies forever. And so the seeds have been set, and they all grow into the races and creatures of Nirn that we know and play today in the games. So I hope you enjoyed that little first step into the creation, and join me next time. I don't want to make it a weekly thing, but we'll just do it every so often, where I'll be talking about those ever so loving Daedra that just love to put their fingers into the mortals. Alright, see you next time.